Hello, friends. I'm Rich Carlson, a Senior Cloud Solutions Architect here at Microsoft, and I welcome you to the Partner Technical Success Channel. At Microsoft, we value our coveted partners and our innovative solutions and services that they bring to market. Today, we'll discuss how service partners can utilize GitHub to build service offerings that align with Microsoft sales teams and deliver engagements that accelerate our customers' time to value. DevOps, at its core, is about driving efficiencies and accelerating time to value in software development. Our partners play a critical role in helping our customers adopt the right tools and processes to build and ship software faster and more securely. In today's episode, we have Will Fox and Kevin Gates here to tell us how service partners can leverage GitHub to do just that. And on that note, take it away, Kevin and Will.
Thanks, Rich. Let's dive right in. So, Will, what makes GitHub important for our DevOps service partners?
Everyone knows that GitHub is the home for developers. Increasingly, though, it's also becoming a hub for product management, operations, security, and much, much more. Since Microsoft's acquisition of GitHub, we've been working really hard to make GitHub the premier platform for code to cloud development. We could see GitHub as the future of DevOps through the entire life cycle, including building, releasing, deploying software, but also completing our feedback loop, monitoring, and turning that into insights for additional planning. GitHub is constantly evolving to include a whole suite of DevOps features, ranging from project planning to CI/CD to code scanning to secrets management. We're even laying an enterprise foundation with offerings like GitHub Enterprise Server so that any organization, no matter the size, the compliance, or the governance requirements, we can get their DevOps processes off the ground using GitHub. Now, if that's a bit about GitHub, then the natural question is, what's the value proposition for our partners and mutual customers? For us, DevOps is all about accelerating time to value. We're constantly asking how we can deliver new features and functionality to our customers in less time. Now, that being said, many customers can struggle to put these DevOps ideas and processes into practice. As a Microsoft partner, this provides a phenomenal opportunity to accelerate digital transformation for your customers by helping them understand the tools for DevOps. For our services partners, these engagements can generate revenue and strong relationships with your customers. And some of our partners are even using these DevOps engagements to get the digital transformation started, which creates follow-on work and additional leads for the partner. The bottom line is that helping a customer grow a DevOps culture lays the foundation for developing great software. And with the GitHub ecosystem being relatively new, there's plenty of demand for those who can bring GitHub to the core of DevOps.
So then, Will, considering GitHub Actions has recently came out, is it possible for service partners to come up to speed if they have experience with Azure pipelines?
Absolutely. GitHub Actions, in fact, originally started as a fork of the Azure Pipelines repository, and it's designed to be a fully featured CI/CD tool, just like Azure Pipelines. So a critical part of accelerating that time to value I mentioned earlier is shortening the time between a code check-in and a code deployment. GitHub Actions can be used for every step in between, including code integration, testing, scanning, packaging, and deployment. Because it is so closely related to Azure Pipelines, if you're a partner with expertise in Azure DevOps and CI/CD, then your knowledge is going to translate very well. GitHub Actions development, in fact, looks nearly identical, essentially, to the Azure Pipelines YAML editing experience, if you're familiar with that. And similar to Azure Pipelines, GitHub has a whole marketplace for extensions which you can use to integrate any third-party software directly into your actions. Or if you have third-party software of your own, you can write your own extensions to integrate that into your customers' pipelines. Now, that's a bit about GitHub and the value proposition for the partners. But Kevin, what I'm curious about is, as partners begin to develop their solution offerings, what sort of requirements do you have for these offerings?
That's actually a really popular question right now. So let's bring some clarity to that. We have two categories, requirements and then recommendations. The first important step, I would say, is for DevOps practice managers and consultants to learn and develop technical depth with GitHub and GitHub Actions. So this would include obtaining certifications, providing reference architectures, and case studies. Later on, I'll talk about a challenge-based hack that we've developed to help our partners and customers learn GitHub. Next up, the code to cloud workflow is extremely critical, with automation being at the center of it all. So we're looking for all solution offerings to include GitHub Actions for CI/CD and workflow. This gives our service partners the opportunity to build workflows that meet the customer's business, technical, and security requirements with capabilities such as branch policies, code and secret scanning, integration with other systems, and using the 2,500 actions that we have available in the GitHub Marketplace. Now, while GitHub Actions is required for CI/CD, you can still use Azure DevOps boards, artifacts, plans, and analytics if the GitHub equivalent doesn't meet your business or technical requirements. Next up, DevOps is about more than automation. To build and ship software faster, you need to have good communication, contribution, and more importantly, administration. So GitHub Enterprise extends GitHub with features that minimize administrative challenges and security risk as these teams start to grow larger and larger. We'd like our service partners to support implementing GitHub Enterprise features such as teams, policies, auditing, and branch protection rules. Now, those three requirements are really important, but I want to share some other things that we've seen resonate with our customers. Consider building a DevOps assessment to understand the current DevOps landscape and develop a plan to remove any points of friction in the developer lifecycle. Also consider including a workshop or training session to teach your customer about GitHub. This could be another area where you can use that challenge-based hack that I'll touch on in a little bit. Next up, the solutions offering. Duration, deliverables, and costs should be clearly communicated in your collateral. And last up, we would like you to understand and leverage the guidance and principles described in the cloud adoption framework.
This visual is great, and I love the breakdown between what's required and these awesome recommendations you gave as well. But before we close this out, do you have any resources that our partners could leverage as they get started on their journey of creating these offerings?
Very good point. One thing I would say right away is that challenge-based hack that I mentioned earlier. And so Microsoft has a collection of challenge-based hacks called What the Hack that can be used for your own internal skill development or for delivering to your customers as part of an engagement. The way it works is attendees work in squads of 3 to 5 people to solve a series of challenges, technical challenges given to them for a scenario. And in this case, it is DevOps and GitHub. So these challenges are not step by step, but instead they describe high-level tasks and goals to be accomplished. It is designed to be collaborative and a collaborative learning experience, giving the attendees the opportunity to learn from and share with each other. The other resource worth calling out is Microsoft's Developer Velocity Assessment. This is something that you can take and use with your own customers to assess their DevOps maturity, develop a plan, and hopefully end with a statement of work. For our learning resources, we have over 20 hours of content spreading across our virtual training series, Microsoft Learn, Learning Paths, and GitHub Learning Labs, all here to help you and your customers learn GitHub. And last up, we have GitHub Actions for Azure. You can see a number of them listed on the right. These are developed by Microsoft to help you deploy infrastructure, code, and policies. And just like Will mentioned earlier, very similar to Azure DevOps, GitHub offers these actions that'll let you deploy code anywhere.
In closing, thank you, Will and Kevin, for the quick update on how service partners can use GitHub to build service offerings that align with Microsoft sales teams and deliver engagements that accelerate our customers' time to value. Thank you, everyone, for attending. We'll see you in the next video.